very quick overview of breakout rooms. And what we're saying, we're going to do at the end of the meeting is pop a link in so you can come and test it for yourselves. And then we'll come over to Belgian Police to tell us about what they're doing around this space.
Yes, absolutely. So, Lorraine, could you share my screen a second, just so we can see some screenshots? So, unfortunately, I can't give you a live demo actually on this live event because I actually do need to have the full version of Teams to be able to see breakout rooms. So I can't get to using the browser version of Teams to see breakout rooms. So yeah, hopefully you can see my screen. What you see, the first icon here is what you'll see when you create a new meeting within Teams using that full application that sits on your laptop. You'll find when you start the meeting, you receive this new little icon. That's your breakout rooms icon. Okay, and when you're running this meeting, if you click on that icon, there's a few things that you can do. First of all, you can decide how many meeting rooms you wanted to run, and you can run up to 50 meeting rooms. It's quite difficult, I can imagine, to run that many, but you can run potentially 50. You have the ability here also to allow Teams to allocate those users to those meeting rooms, and it would just divide up randomly those number of people in that meeting and those number of meeting rooms that you've decided. Or you can decide manually. If you decide manually, and this is the example I've showed you in a second, you can decide who goes in which meeting room. So you decide the room, decide which facility and how to assign those participants, and then you click on create room. And then from the create room here, what you can do is click on these little three dots, the little ellipses, and then you can decide to rename your rooms. That's really a good idea, especially if you've got quite a lot of multiple rooms. Having room 1, room 2 can be a little bit tricky sometimes. So give them some nice logical names for your meeting rooms. And the next thing you can do is you use this little arrow that points right, and you can assign the participants. So by clicking on this little arrow, it actually opens up the participants list, the people that have actually currently attending your meeting. They've joined that meeting. So you can see here, these 2 people, or 3 people here have attended this meeting. And what we've done here is I've ticked Nesta and Alex to join a meeting room. And so I nominate them here, and I click on assign, and I choose the meeting room that I want them to break out into. And then what we can do here, again, that little right arrow, looking at that breakout room, if I click on it, it then just confirms to me who's been allocated to those meeting rooms. Bit of a sense check for that meeting organizer to make sure that they know that who's in these meeting rooms. And then what you do is click on start rooms. Now, from an experience of that end user, they will get a notification pop up to say they're going to be moving very shortly into that meeting room, into that breakout room. And then what you can do is that meeting organizer, you have still within that breakout room button, within that Teams toolbar, is that you have the facility of jumping in between those meeting rooms. So it's really good to facilitate them. You can just jump in and making sure those users are okay and that breakout session is working well. Or maybe you might want to go in just to give them a bit of a warning that is, 5 more minutes left in that session. And also what you can do, and again within the breakout room toolbar, you've got the little 3 dots again, and you can make an announcement. So rather than actually popping into the rooms as that facilitator, especially if you've got a lot of rooms that you're managing, you could make an announcement, and the announcement just pops up within that chat functionality within that Teams meeting. It just tells them that it's an important message from that meeting person. And then what you can do when those meeting rooms are finished as that organizer, you can close the rooms down, and the users get a little notification pop up. When you're recording a meeting, you get a little banner coming up to say this meeting is being recorded. It's a very similar banner. It just comes up to say this meeting room is going to close. So this gives you a couple of, I think it's a minute or something to allow it to close down. And then what happens with the content, and this is a really important conversation, because a lot of people have asked me, what happens to the conversations, that chat, and maybe some forms and maybe a recording that you have within that breakout room? What happens to that information? Does it get stored within the actual main meeting that you started? It doesn't actually. It gets stored within that personal chat. Okay, so what you need to do as a user within that breakout room, if you just have a look at your chat icon in Teams, you can see the area here, the breakout room that you joined. So the individuals will see their own individual breakout rooms. If you're the chairperson, the meeting organizer, you will see all the rooms that you created within that breakout session. Back to you, David.
Thanks very much, Nick. That's brilliant. So it is a fantastic tool, and there are more improvements due soon. At the moment, there are some limitations into how many people can organise, as in 1. so there's a lot of pressure on the organizer. But we'll go through a very quick demonstration, as I say, in a few minutes, and I think it's one of the tools that's going to really revolutionise the way we use it, particularly in the R&D teams, but also you can imagine many other areas when you're trying to do workshops and development and move things forward. Now, so very simple. There's the new icon. That's the thing we've been waiting for at the top, the little box in a box, which is the breakout rooms. So there's a couple of options to use. First of all, you click that and you tell us how many rooms you want to put in. And this is thanks to Nick's training the other day, I'm able to do this. So if I want 3 rooms, it will put 8 to 9 people, because there's roughly 26 people in today's meeting, into a room automatically for us. So if I will obviously go up to the 50 as Nick mentioned. So if I do the simple, keep it at 3 for a moment, and I create the rooms, nothing's going to happen as far as you as delegates are concerned at the moment. Now, if you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's my 3 rooms. And if I click the little arrow, I can see who's been allocated into which room for each of them. You cannot do this beforehand at the moment, and only one person, the meeting organizer, can do this at the moment. So you can't pre-organize yet, but I know Nick will say that they're looking at that as we come. So if I wanted to move Lorraine from meeting room 1 to meeting room 2, I just click her little icon, press assign, and assign it into another room. As easy as that. So it does give you quite a lot of control over it. As you can see, the rooms are closed at the moment. You can't get in there. I have to click Start Rooms to do that. I can add another room on as I wish to. If I want to add a 4th room in there to put the people who we don't want to hear about, we can put them into room 4 and just allocate them into there if we want to. So very simple to do. So in a second, I'm going to send you into your rooms. If people join the meeting late, they will come up here and they can be assigned. It's very simple. So I'm going to send you into the rooms, send you a message. You can chat amongst yourselves, use the chat, and then I'll bring you back into the main room. And that's all I really wanted to cover today, because I think that's probably gives you enough to have a proper play and move it forward. So I'll send you off and I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. So the rooms are opening. You should have the option to join them and move across. Here we go. You're vanishing off my screen, so you must be going. Right. I'm going to start bringing you back in. And you're all beginning to pop back into me now. And you're back.